I want to talk about why it's so difficult for us to move through our emotional obstacles. So many of my clients come to see me and they have a challenge in their life. Either they're lacking in self-esteem in some area of their life, or they're dealing with a relationship challenge, or they may feel challenged around sex, or they have weight that they want to shift and they've been on many diets, or every time they go to start their business they get this overwhelming feeling of tightness in the belly and they freeze. And my clients have often been to therapy and they've been in counseling and they may have tried psychotherapy, but they still have this challenge in their life that they're not able to move through. And this can include anxiety and depression as well. And for many of them, they think, oh my God, this is just going to be the way that it is for the rest of my life. And many people also understand where a lot of their challenges come from. I've got low self-esteem because my mother was a bully or my father was an aggressive alcoholic, for example. The thing is that all of our emotional suffering comes down to three things. The belief that I'm not enough, the belief that what I want is not available to me, and the belief that I'm different, therefore I'm going to get kicked out of the tribe. And if we think about a child who wears braces or glasses or is different in some way, it is the most traumatic thing to think that they are different, to feel that they are different, and to be rejected by other children. And so our brain's job is always to move us away from pain and towards pleasure. The brain's job is to keep us alive. If at some point in your life your brain has picked up the message that something equals pain, then it's for the rest of your life, it's going to stop you from doing it. So I had a profound fear of public speaking for many years. In fact, if I knew I had to go and stand in public or I had to deliver a talk, I would lose sleep for 2 weeks beforehand. And I remember when I worked as an IT project manager, I would literally have my manager up against the wall saying, you have to go and speak for me. There was no way in the world that I was going to get up and speak. And if I did get up to speak, my knees got wobbly, my heart was going, my whole body would be shaking. And of course I would humiliate myself and be very embarrassed. We see when I was a child, I was humiliated in class. I stood up when I was 7 years old and I went to speak and the teacher shut me down and the whole class laughed. And so my brain learned that public speaking is painful for me. And so years later as an adult, I wanted to get up and speak in public because I had to for my work, but my brain kept telling me, remember what happened when you were 7 years old. It is not safe for you to speak in public because you're going to be humiliated. And it's my job to move you away from pain. And this happens with everything in our life. I had a client who came to see me who didn't sleep. She hadn't slept for years. And we went back to memories when she was a child of her mother telling her when she was a 5-year-old that there were bombers that were coming into the harbour, or recalling stories of Japanese bombers coming into Auckland Harbour. And this poor little kid was so terrified that she stayed up night after night afraid that bombers were going to come into the harbour. And so her brain learned that sleeping is not safe. I had a client yesterday who is trying to get her business off the ground, but whenever she goes to take action, she gets this overwhelming sick feeling in her belly and she freezes. And this is because when she was a child, she was humiliated and she was told that she was ugly, and she used to say to herself all the time, if only I could hide. I want to hide away and be invisible, and then I will be safe. So of course now when she goes to put herself out there in the world, her brain goes, remember what happened when you were a kid and you told me you wanted to be safe, so it's my job to do this. So I'm going to make you feel anxious and frozen so that you don't go out there and do it. So this is the reason why we're not able to shift through some of these blocks and these challenges, because we can't do it consciously. We can think about things, we can talk and reflect about them, but we absolutely must go into the subconscious mind, and we need to pluck out that faulty programming. We need to pull it out from the roots, and we need to put a powerful new program so that you do not suffer from that thing anymore. And so often my clients will tell me after a session or when they're doing a program with me that they notice these subtle changes, that their thoughts just are different. They notice new thoughts just popping into their mind, or they feel different, or they're not reacting anymore. They are responding differently. And the reason for this is that the subconscious mind has accepted this new programming. See, there's another piece to this puzzle as well. Apart from us having these subconscious beliefs, we also have a lot of unresolved emotion from the past. So if you think of a pipe that's blocked with clay, for example, water can't flow through the pipe. And you can think of that pipe, the analogy of the pipe, as being a pipe that is blocked, full of old emotion, anger, sadness, hurt, anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, all of these main emotions. And so if we've got all of this unresolved block stuff that is there, we're going to respond to life through all of that old hurt and all of that old anger and all of that old fear, etc. And so it's also really important that you go back to each of those points and each of those memories, or the key ones, particularly when you were younger, and see it from a higher perspective and reframe those events. Every single time you go back to an event where you picked up trauma or you developed a perspective in some way and you look at it from a different point of view, you change the neurological wiring in your brain. It is incredibly powerful. So I recommend that you do this work, get in contact with a hypnotherapist, or work with me. I work with people online, I work with people in person, and I am really good at helping people to shift these old subconscious beliefs. So I'll put the link up after this video, and you can book a free 30-minute consultation with me, and we can talk about how to release this from your life and to free you forever.